The loading time is so good. Okay. So we made money. We gave some of it away. So when we bring crew members on jobs with us, we'll definitely have to pay them. I think the game is telling me. All right. So we need supplies. We need supplies. Is there any other jobs I can do? Oh, I'm starving too. So we're gonna buy some food. $13 to buy food. And how much would it give me? Let's see. Alright, cool. Trade hall to give me fuel. We need full amount of supplies. Yeah, supplies is no joke. Alright, this is rough. I'm looking for contract board. And these are odd jobs. So I should definitely use my dice to do odd jobs and then go on a contract. You strike it lucky by finding some valuable components encased in a hull plate. The result is a bigger payout or far less effort. I didn't see how much that gave me. 12 cryo. Cannot complain, cannot complain. Let's... How do I repair these dice? Rig engine. Rest and recover. Not too sure. Is this the way? When at a hub, you can reduce stress at the rig bunks. Okay. Stress. When at the hub, you can repair dice at the rig workshop location. Once unlocked. Okay. Rig workshop. So I don't have it yet. Alright. Is there any easy odd jobs for me to do? Nice. Maybe I just try these. Freight loading. The warehouses at the Hexport dock supply the industrial operations of the station, meaning they need constant loading and restocking. I think I'm gonna risk it. 11 cryo. You settle into the rhythm of the warehouse. And put in a solid shift. I remember doing this before. Alright, so now we take... Wait, is there any more? Nah. So now we set out. Okay. Carsten is offering you a straight barter for the feed lines you need if you bring him the data core from this derelict. Any raw scrap you pull out is yours. Okay. We have to do it. Confirm vector. Is that... Cool. The rig. Your refuge in the belt. Rig. Refuge in the belt. Like, did we used to be here? The Solheim derelict fills the cockpit windows, all twisted plates and skeletal strutwork. You watched it in horror and fascination as Seraphim completed the approach, both of you silent in the presence of this decaying beast. Now, as you settled beside it, Seraphim is the first to break the silence. This thing is already dead. He shakes his head. It's a corpse, sleeper. He nudges the ship closer, looking for a place to dock. I touch this thing too hard, it'll crumble into dust. Let's not do that. What were you expecting? Stay silent. Seraphim glances back at you. No advice. Take us up there. That's the bridge. Ginny points towards one end of the ship, and both you and Seraphim turn around, having forgotten she was even in the cockpit. She hasn't said a word since you departed. She glances at both of your bemused faces. What? She looks away. Sorry, that's where we need to go. She stops pointing. Seraphim nods towards Junie. She's not wrong, sleeper. The bridge would be a good start. Assess the wreck first. Assess the wreck first. Junie settles silently back into her seat. She looks away, out of the cockpit, and you are unsure if she is upset or just embarrassed. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with assessing the wreck first. Carefully, Seraphim brings the ship close to the derelict and guides it along the hull. The rig's lights ripple over the broken surface, finding gaps and cracks everywhere. It seems remarkable that the derelict is still held together. Shit. Seraphim hisses a huge spinning piece. Hisses as a huge spinning piece of debris drifts in front of the cockpit. He pushes the rig down beneath it, squeezing between the debris and the hull, and as he does so, an ear-splitting screech signals the rig scraping across the derelict's skin. You freeze for a moment, waiting for the breach sirens to sound, but the moment passes and you relax. You glance at Seraphim. His face betrays no emotion. This isn't safe. Seraphim shakes his head. I'm going to find somewhere better to settle the ship. Then we need to suit up and work our way along the hull on foot. You look back at Junie and see her still in her seat, eyes wide. You okay? Junie looks at you, and there is a sudden unfamiliar hardness in her eyes that surprises you. Then a moment later, it is gone, and her gaze softens. I'm okay. She smiles a flat smile. Don't worry. Junie, secretive data extractor. Seraphim brings the ship away from the derelict's hull an inch at a time, then slowly brings it round to settle close to a mostly intact hull plate. This section is fairly free of debris. He nudges the ship a little closer. We should be good to hold here. Seraphim unclips from his seat, and you and Junie follow suit. As you all glide down towards the airlock, Junie silently follows. You can't help but feel judged. As you reach the airlock, Seraphim begins suiting up. If we are lucky, that little collision hasn't started a cascade that will end with this place coming apart under our feet. Seraphim violently kicks his legs into a seat of Eva trousers, clearly irritated by his own carelessness. It wasn't your fault. Seraphim shoots you a look. Fault isn't going to matter when we are floating off into the black. This is a delicate job, Junie says quietly, almost to herself. The data core will be fragile. She casts a furtive glance in the direction of you and Seraphim. Very fragile. Understood. Junie nods appreciatively. The rest of the preparation process takes place in tense silence, each of you considering the delicate job ahead. You suit up, too. Though you don't need a helmet to breathe, you slide on one and lock the seals for protection. This wreck isn't going to give up its salvage easily. The core should be near the bridge, maybe even inside it, but there's a lot of wreck here, and there might be good salvage tucked away in the cargo hold. Once the suits are on and the seals are checked, you cycle the lock and stare out at the vast expanse of the twisted hulk before you. Time to go to work. Big dice. My dice suck. Oh, so is that because I didn't listen to her? Derelict stress. A still decaying ruin. Something will happen. And then at the end, it's a wrap. Okay. Corroded airlock, bridge entry. Just looking at the plus and minus. Oh man, we are so bad at this. Okay, let's start here. Lock dissection. It will take longer, but cutting away the lock layer by layer is the safest way to make it through. Or force the lock. Forget being delicate. The clock is running on the contract, and forcing the lock is the fastest way to gain entry. So this is gonna be the best chance. Let's start off. I was already thinking that. Smashed it. Oh, bridge entry. The airlock on the derelict is rusted shut. Opening it up is necessary to enter and investigate the wreck's bridge. Contract stress has triggered a crisis. A crisis will add 1 contract stress per cycle unless resolved at the crisis location. Oh my god. Emergency seal. The derelict's hull is falling apart. If this breach is sealed and fast, the entire wreck will collapse. You're kidding me. This is crazy. Woo! Come on. Shit. I don't know if we should even play with these. I don't want to. How much time do I have? +1 per cycle. I feel like I have to. God, this is horrible. Nice. Clinched it. Nice. I think you said clinch. Alright, we're gonna rest. We haven't got any good dice. Or do we? Nah, it's not worth it. 5 supplies though, look at that. How do I do it? End cycle. I'm looking good. It will take longer, but cutting away to okay, no, it's the same, of course. I should be happy that I got 2 of these though, I guess. A large part of the lock cracks off, but spins into open space. A stroke of luck. Get rid of these 2s, I guess. No, not worth it. These 3s. Just show me where, sleeper. Derelict stress, man. Come on, dude. The bridge of the derelict lies silent. The pale beams of your suit lamps catch rows of terminal and clouds of glittering dust. Wires wave like seaweed, and the whole scene appears as if underwater, chaotic but still. Junie glides past you, disturbing the dust, and taking you by surprise as she does. She has been a stoic presence so far, but in this moment, she seems drawn forward by some force of curiosity. You watch as she bats away debris and begins checking terminals. Let her work. She is already prying an access panel off one of the more intact looking terminals, and as she does, puffs of rust color the vacuum around her red. I gotta trust her, right? Approach her. She turns back to the terminal and finishes prying off the plate. Then quickly, she reaches inside, fishing around for something. Her hand comes back out with a waving cable topped with a thick connector. As soon as she sees it, she slips a keyboard-sized deck out from somewhere on her person. She runs her hand across the back until she finds the right port and slots in the connector. All of this happens in a few seconds, the routine practiced and precise. It is hard not to be impressed. Nicely done. We'll see, she says, so quietly it seems mostly to herself. Junie's fingers dance across the deck's keyboard, and a burst of static lights up the Solheim terminal screen. The sudden burst of light and color takes you by surprise. Junie's fingers tap away, the terminal screen flashing with blocks of color and lines of code. It buzzes and vibrates, its long-dead systems forced back into chaotic life. Then, at all once, it goes dark. The terminal is dead. Shit. Junie hisses beneath her breath. Useless. You cannot tell if the insult is directed at the terminal or herself. What are you doing? She looks up at you, as if she was just wakened from a dream, looking for something useful. She pauses. Useful for the contract, that is. She glances down. A map of the ship, plans, you know. The cradle with the data core can't be far. She pushes off from the terminal, gliding away from you. I'll start looking, she calls back, and heads to the other side of the bridge. Seraphine glides up beside you. Everything alright? What do you think of Junie? The kid, Seraphine shrugs. You'd know better than me, keeps to herself. He squints at her retreating form. Seraphine stretches in his suit. I have to admit, it's nice to be back working, especially now that we are the ones who will reap the benefits. He claps you on the shoulder. Feels good to be taking our fate into our own hands. I know it's pretty rough back there. Back on Hexport. And out here, we're just as likely to get shredded by debris as find the damn data core. But aren't you glad we made a break for it? He pauses and looks down, having asked the questions almost by accident. I mean, I am. I just don't want to speak for you. I'm glad to. Seraphine smiles. You'd better be. I didn't give up that little dark side cupboard I was living in for nothing. He laughs at his own joke. Look, Seraphine checks his suit's wrist seals. Once we've got a bit of space between us, once we've gone the distance, if we even manage to get that far, he furrows his brow. Don't feel you owe me. I'm no charity case. You want us to go our separate ways? Fine by me. He meets your eyes. Just do me the favor of telling me to my face. That won't happen. Seraphine nods, but doesn't respond. After a moment, he shines his torch out into the dark, checking the rows of terminals all across the bridge. You watch the glittering dust as it eddies in the beam. Seraphine sighs. Let's get to it. You watch as he crosses the bridge, his torch probing the dark corners. You feel a chill run through your body as you imagine the people that once ran this ship, the Solheim crew, surely long dead. What was it like here before the collapse, when the systems was the jewel in Solheim's crown? It's impossible to know. That history is lost to you now. All you can do is pick what you can from the ruins. What's this? So we've been here. Cargo entry, this is for loot. I feel like we go for that last, maybe. Derelict Bridge, Solheim Central Command. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, maybe I try to do this first. I've got supplies. If I do this, I probably should risk it and then the rest. Oops. She is just not good at this. Okay. Reboot the system. Rather than hunting old pathways, rebooting selected sections of the ship's systems might reveal the data core's location as it responds. But track the pathways. One way to find the ship's data core is to systematically track the old pathways through the derelict in hope of finding the one that connects to it. Data core location. The bridge and data core must be connected. But in a wreck as big as this, tracing that connection is a challenge. I think I rest and I start taking big risks on maybe supply 1 and 2. Yeah. Please. Good dice, good dice. Fuck. He's good. Kinda liking this. Oh wait, she's good at this. So I can use him here. It's gonna do the same thing. A nexus. We pushed through. Nice. A nexus of old data pathways is unearthed deep in the derelict and seems to be a relay node for the core. Getting close. Look, man, my dice is about to break. I still don't really get it. And if I push, plus 3 to the lowest crew dice. I think I might do push. Or maybe not yet. Not yet, not yet. I think I rest. These dice are terrible, man. Okay. We're gonna rest. Then we'll start taking big risks. We'll push to +1 to stress. Let me rest. End cycle. Okay. This is better. This is certainly better. I might even push here. Choose. So this gave me stress. We're good now. Let's go ahead and use this. Agreed, sleeper. Nice work, sleeper. Wonder if I should risk a 2 die. Nah. Can't use my 2 die here. Should probably save. I should probably save one of each. So she goes here. Just give me a second. Cracked it. I'm loving this game. I'll do this. I don't know if I'll get. No, I'm good. Finally, the location of the data core is identified. Now extracting it is all that remains. New location discovered. Okay, this is me and Junie only. Oh no, it's actually isolate the core. Okay. Let me read these first. Data core extraction. The core sits in a complex cradle made of many connections. Getting it out intact is a delicate act. So that's gonna be her all the way. The core is barely intact. Any mistake, no matter how small, could render it inoperable, making the contract null and void. Oh, so this is just bad. So this is just what happens when I do it bad. So it is me and her. So slice the core. One way of getting the fragile core out is to physically cut it free, slicing each connection individually, though the potential for damage is high. As clean a cut as could be hoped for, the connections come away. This might work. Right. So she is obviously gonna go here. Isolate the core. The core is fragile, but by rerouting the data connections to it from its cradle, it could be lifted free without damage, at least in theory. Cracked it. Working on the cradle, not the core. It is impossible to isolate and redirect multiple connections at once. Cool, so now we use the other dice on here. There are layers and layers of broken hull plates blocking the cargo doors. This will require some heavy work. Clear cargo doors. Find access point. There has to be a way in amongst the shattered hull. Searching will be slow, but at least the derelict will remain stable. We got this. Woo. Do I try this? Try and end it here? I think I do. I got this, right? I got this. Let's do it. Hey! You've cleared a passage into the cargo bay. Time to see what is inside. New location discovered. Come on, man. Do I really need to do more? Okay, we're gonna rest. The rig. And we're probably gonna push them every single time. And cycle. Good die. Shit, I'm gonna be out of commission soon. I don't need to push, which is good. think we do this first. I think we use me plus green, and this is plus green too and bad for me, so I do me here. Slice the core. We could do this. Please. Data core damage is fine, no. I think I'm gonna risk it here. Do I risk it here? I probably do not. Plugging in now, sleeper. I probably do not. This guy's dice suck. You know what? Wait, I need to see something. Yeah, we can do with one more stress, so I'm gonna do this guy instead. If you say so, sleeper. Oh, good. Can't stop us, sleeper. You watch nervously as Junie guides the core out of the cradle, a large ball, almost half your height in diameter. It glides up out of the framework that held it, connections waving loose and cut. Her breathing comes through the suit's comms, loud enough to be picked up, and it fills you with tense energy as you watch. Over the course of this job, you have seen Junie both focused and distracted, nervous and precise, but you have not seen her any more confident than in this moment now. She floats beside the data core, handling it with care and skill, as if it was the vast egg of some endangered bird. She glances up and sees you watching her, and you notice something unfamiliar in her eyes, something that you have perhaps seen in a passing moment before, only now it is no momentary lapse or change. It is set in place. You see determination. She guides the core a little away from you with one hand, and at the same time comes forward, almost placing herself between you and her prize. And it does seem to be hers, in the way she handles it, the possessive way she screens it with her body. We need to talk. The statement comes flat and deadpan. Any nervous tremble is gone. Right now. Okay. Sleeper. She takes a deep breath. I want to be honest with you, but I need to know you won't take this from me. Junie glances around the cradle defensively. Seraphine is already heading back to the ship to prepare the cargo bay for the core's storage. You two are alone. Tell me, and we'll see. Fine, she folds her arms. But it's staying with me. Karsten doesn't deserve this treasure, sleeper. Junie glances over her shoulder at the core. Do you know how many of these are left intact? She shakes her head. And all he wants to do is wipe it clean, so he can use it to interface with Hexbot. All that data, gone. So what do you want? I want to extract the data, to make use of it. You see some genuine emotion flicker in her eyes. She sighs. After extracting the data, the core will be unusable. There's a security system that will fry it if data duplication is attempted. I can delay the security response long enough to copy the data, but after that, she trails off. You've done this before? She looks down. Yes. She meets your eye. This is why I came. Look at this place, sleeper. She gestures to the cradle room. A dark and twisted cavern of long dead tech. How many of these places are left? How many chances do we have to recover anything this old, this fragile? Like it or not, we live in Solheim's shadow, in their ruins, and yet we know almost nothing. What chance do we have of understanding how we got here when others like them, like Senatstadt and Conway, are descending on this system? What can we learn from the core? I don't know, sleeper. That is the point. She gestures around herself. We could learn our history and how this system was settled. We could better learn the technology we build our lives on. We could uncover Solheim's crimes and seek to make amends. She looks at you with pleading eyes. We could see beyond survival towards something else. You have never heard Junie speak like this, and you realize what you have taken for nervousness was actually control. This, the person in front of you defending a decaying data core with their life, is the real Junie. But then you think of Lane, of the price he likely put on your and Seraphine's heads, and of the feed lines without which leaving Hexport will be almost impossible. Is this even a choice? Take it from Junie. Nah, man. Explain about the feed lines. I like her more than Caster. Junie listens carefully as you tell her about the deal with Karsten, the feed lines he offered you, and that both you and Seraphine are on the run. Then I'll help you. Junie doesn't flinch. We find another way to get those feed lines. Karsten is an idiot. I can hack his security and you can pull them out of there. Or Seraphine looks tough. Maybe he can grab them. She looks desperate. We can do it. We can do something. Don't you work for him? Judy glances away. Look, I knew you wouldn't take me if... She sighs. I might have misled you there. I knew he knew where the derelict was, and I heard your conversation. I've been keeping an eye on him. She pauses. I know I lied, but I can help you. Let me strip the data from the core, and I promise to help you get the feed lines. She meets your eyes with intensity. It's a lot of information to take in at once. You need a second to think. Let's do it. I trust her. Thank you. Junie looks genuinely moved. This is a gift to all of us, sleeper. I hope you will see it like that. Junie turns to the data core, quickly gathering one of its loose connections. She takes out her deck and plugs it in, then crosses her legs and places it across them, floating tethered beside the core. Her fingers begin tapping at the keyboard, teasing out the core's data and whatever Solheim secrets it might contain. As she does, Seraphine enters. He braces himself in the entryway. What's she doing? Junie doesn't seem to notice. Emptying the data. She's doing what? Seraphine jumps to attention, but you put a hand on his shoulder. He eyes you suspiciously. I hope you know what you are doing, sleeper. He nods towards the car. That's our ticket out of Hexport. You'll see. If you say so. You both turn to watch Junie stripping the core of its secrets. A little while later, once the core has been emptied out and its defense mechanism has scorched its seams black. You watch the metallic sphere spinning gently in the room, and you wonder if you have just made a terrible mistake. It's cool. I trust her. Now let's get this loot. Put all your efforts into this, girl. Map the bays. Countless vast bays extend from here. deep into the derelict. Scanning and mapping each one will allow you to navigate them safely. Through some careful triangulation, a 3D map of the layers of bays is slowly built, piece by piece. Just give me a second. Cracked it. Scrap survey. This is the end of the derelict. This end of the derelict is partially intact. If you can survey it, perhaps you can find some valuable scrap among the decay. Oh my god, there's still more. We need to do this in one go. Oh, it's on me, and homie over there. Extract raw. Oh, I get to do this as many times, maybe? Extract raw scrap. Deep inside the derelict, there are masses of intact scrap. This is valuable material, but it is also what's holding the ship together. Ooh. We're gonna rinse this. Alright, let's rest. Let's rest and we're gonna go crazy. Let's do this in cycle. Big boy die. One of your dice is broken due to losing all its dice health. Broken dice can be repaired at the rig for a cost of 1 workshop something. Right. I feel good about this, so. Through persistence and skill, the scrap comes away from the derelict's internal structure without damaging it. You feel me? Good call, sleeper. Two crisis active. I should just do it as much as possible. I'll give it a shot, I guess. Yes, you will. Woo! Okay, we gotta go. How do we leave? Map. Contract concluded. You can now travel back to the hub. Once you leave, you will not be able to return. Leave. As you arrive into Hexport, Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. We are going to have to act fast if we want to take those feed lines. You and Seraphine exchange glances. You are both still getting used to this new Junie. We? Seraphine raises an eyebrow. Only one of us fried the core and stole all its data. He shoots you a look. And for some reason, we let you. We can make this work. What I'm wondering, Sleeper, is why we have to. Seraphine looks infuriated. I don't think Carson is going to take kindly to the idea that we brought someone pretending to work for him on the job and let her have his prize. He scoffs. He points at Junie like she is an object. Do you even know what she's up to? Junie looks between the two of you. Hexport hasn't exactly been kind to me. You two trusted me, even though I didn't deserve it. I'm not used to that. I want to repay it. Not to mention that Karsten is probably ripping you off. Even if you get enough cryo, what's to say he won't raise the price? Trust me, he's no good. I was trying to deal with Karsten to get those derelict coordinates from the moment I arrived here, and he ran me in circles. She shakes her head. Seraphine is watching her closely. Even if I do take you at your word, which, given everything, seems a little tough, How do we even do this? He raises an eyebrow. You are telling me we just drift in there and take the feed lines? Look, I get it. You don't trust me. She pauses. But what if I have a vested interest in this working out? There's nothing left for me here, and I don't much feel like hanging around waiting for Carsten to figure out my involvement in all this. I need safe passage. You need the feed lines to grant it. She allows herself a smile. See where I'm going with this? Seraphin sighs. I don't like it. He pauses. But it makes sense. What do you think, Sleeper? I like it. Alright then, Junie smiles. Let me prepare. I'll head to Factory Row, scope the place out. Meet me there and we can work out a plan. She glances between the two of you. Trust me, we can find a way. We'll keep it simple, clean. Simple is good. Agreed, Seraphin cuts in. His dark look betrays his concerns. I'll go scope out the bay we need in Factory Row. We should split up. Less likely for Carsten to suspect us. Meet me there in a few and we can finish setting up. Junie unclips from her seat, floating. I want to show you I can be trusted, that we can do this. She looks between the two of you. Believe that, please. And with that, she slips away down the passage towards the airlock and Hexport beyond. You look at Seraphin. I'm saying nothing, Sleeper. He unclips from his seat too. Either this is the kind of mess you have to go through to get to the other side, or it's the kind that you never escape. Either way, we are in it now. He leaves the cockpit. He said a lot, yo. You stare at the chaotic lights of Hexport and wonder if anything in the Starward belt ever runs smoothly. Yo, I am about to be in some big trouble. Big trouble. Junie's unit. Abandoned factory unit. Whew. Sheesh, man. Sheesh. Hack security. Junie needs help to create a backdoor into Carsten's security systems so she can deactivate them when the time is right. Leaving Junie, observe target. Leaving Junie to the hacking and covertly observing Carsten would be the quickest and riskiest way to scope out security. I think I need to throw all my dice in here. Let's do it. You observe Carsten. What? Starving, I see. You observe Carsten closing up. He seems paranoid, as if he knows he is being watched, but you stay out of sight. Okay. Swift. So I can sell this, right? Yep. Sell raw scrap. Triple S is constantly processing scrap for the factories in the row. They'll pay good money for raw hull plates. How much did you give me? 16. You hand over the scrap and are handed your chits. This place pays well for the belt. Yeah, this is good. I'm rich. One more. And then we are going to fill our supplies, because that is always needed no matter what. And we are also going to fill fuel, because that's actually not that much money. And then we should buy something to eat. Where do I buy food? Buy a Ben's fry. How much did it give me? Free? I think that gives me free. And this one gives me 4. 13, are you kidding me? think this is better. 2. I see. Okay, we'll stay hungry for a bit. Junie's unit. Come on, we can do this. We can do this. Get lucky. Oh my. Alright. Going to buy this. I think I sleep here. It's gonna be tight. And then we try and do the rest next cycle. Oh yeah, I don't have to, let's just do cryo. Alright, that's what we need. Okay, so I need to get this down if I can. I think I understand it. I'm stressed. Let's do this. You have enough info to take a shot at this. Time to go through the plan. They're still gonna want me to use my dice? I hope not. The sound of fist on keyboard wakes you from the scrolling code on the terminal screen. You turn to see Junie, a rare half smile on her face as she floats cross-legged with her deck in her lap. The blue light of the snap-on screen makes her eyes glint with a glittering excitement. Got him. She shoots you a look. Carsten's whole system is mine. You push away from your terminal to glide over to her screen. Running the mapping protocol now. I want to know about every little dusty corner of his network. Is there much to map? She squints at the screen. Weirdly, there is. It's coming up now. Seems Carsten is pretty paranoid. This whole system is iced over with some serious security. She frowns. What are all these layers of? A red pulse flashes across her face, changing her features as it does. Shit. Her fingers dance across the keyboard. Something is closing the port. We need... Another red flash and her screen goes blank. Junie's fist hits the keyboard again, harder. We've been kicked out. She is rapidly shaking her head. There's no way a salvager shop should have that kind of countermeasure. She looks troubled. That's it? We're locked out? She looks over at you. It seems so. I think our friend Carsten is involved in some nasty stuff. She rubs her forehead in thought. Wait. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, her screen flickering with commands. A complex node graph assembles on the screen, a mess of interlocking connections. The mapping protocol did enough. She points at the screen. All the security systems are there. She indicates a dark section of broken connections. We didn't get what's here, but it seems like we found some kind of archive. Nothing we want. I wonder what's there. Junie shrugs. Some big data trove, it looks like. Copies of old drives he found? Could just be a load of data left over from salvage jobs that he thinks is worth something. She smiles. He's a meathead with no eye for data, so it's probably a load of debug logs he thinks are Solheim's secrets. She giggles at the idea. Ah, bro. Junie pulls a thumbnail drive out of one of her many pockets and slots it into her deck. Time to train my cat. Identify the program. I guess it doesn't matter. I guess this doesn't matter. I really don't think it matters. Ooh. You watch the code spilling across the screen and notice the addresses from the node map being marked and logged. It appears to be some kind of exploratory program. A ripper worm, perhaps? But why would Junie want the data from Carsten's network? You glance at Junie and notice she is watching you carefully. I can see you are following along, but trust me, you haven't seen one of these before. It's a Katzenjammer. Cat for short. Basically, it takes a network map, finds the weaknesses, and when you hook it up, blasts the network with so much network noise and raw data that it becomes unusable. She smiles to herself. Any tech connected gets a killer headache. I built it to take the remnants of Solheim security systems out of commission on old derelicts. She squints. I had won too many close calls. What will it do to Carsten Shop? Pretty much fry anything on our map. Cameras, shutters, controls, alarms. It'll be pure chaos. She plucks the thumbnail drive out of her deck and hands it over. The cat head sticker on it catching the light as you turn it in your fingers. You've still lost access, of course. Junie turns back to her screen, bringing up another node map. But there's an old Solheim port from the original facility just outside Carsten's. Slot the cat in there, and it should be able to find a back door. What are we waiting for? Nothing, but she looks away. This isn't going to be quiet, she squints. This whole system is going to get data blasted. It's not a subtle hack. When you slot the cat, you get in, grab the feed lines, and run. Sounds like one hell of a risk. Seraphin's voice catches you both by surprise as he slips into the dark and empty unit. Well, Junie pauses. Looking between the two of you, it's our best option. Seraphin narrows his eyes. And where will you be while we run the gauntlet of scrambled security and make the grab? Junie looks away. I can monitor how it goes down remotely from here, or the ship. Seraphin gives you a look. You can tell he is finding it hard to trust Junie after everything. I trust you, Junie. She smiles a thin smile. Thanks. She starts to pack up her deck. But I'll find somewhere else to work from. Close to the ship, but out of your way. Junie shoulders her bag and glides to the door. When you are ready, slot the cat and go. By the time you are back at the ship, I'll be there. She glances down. Don't leave without me. She shoots Seraphin another look, and then slips out of the unit. Seraphin watches her go, then turns to you. The whole of Hexport is going to hear about this. He shakes his head. You better be ready to go the moment you slot that thing. I'll be ready. Seraphin nods silently. I'll be at the ship, preparing the engine. We need to be ready to fit the lines as fast as we possibly can. He meets your eye. Be careful. Don't stop for anyone or anything. He puts a hand on your shoulder. And don't even think about looking back. With that, he slips out of the unit, leaving you alone to consider what comes next. Yo, I can't do more. I have no more time. I can't do more. What the hell is... Yo... Start Katzenjammer. Junie's cat will overwhelm Carsten's security, but you don't know how long for. Better be ready to grab the feed lines and run the moment you slot it. I have terrible dice too. Carsten's place is locked up for the cycle. Shutter down, alarms on. The denizens of Factory Row sneaking past with deliveries and work orders. You hold your position opposite the shop and take a deep breath, waiting for a sign that is, this is going to work. And this is going to work. You look at the thumbnail drive with its shimmering cat sticker sticking out of the old Solheim access port. You imagine the flow of data as the Katzenjammer seeks for an entry point into Carsten's system. You think of Junie, tucked away near the ship, watching you through the public networks. You think of Seraphin, deep in the engine room of the rig. Hurry the hell up, you think. Enough waiting. Then you hear it, a pulsating white noise spluttering, and then screaming out of Carsten's shop. The shutter scissors up and down, The lights pulse, the alarm gurgles in confusion. For a moment, you are stunned into stillness. People stop in the street and turn to look as the shutter's motors burn out in a cascade of sparks and acrid smoke. Now or never. Oh my god. Rush inside. Woo! Without waiting a moment longer, you kick off from the wall and glide towards the entryway, stiffing between the gathering observers. You glance off one of the crowd, knocking them spinning. But you don't stop. You are through the entryway before the shouts reach your ears. There's no going back. It takes you a moment to gather yourself in the chaos of the shop. The wall-mounted screens scream out white noise, and the flickering lights make it hard to concentrate. But you keep your focus. You scramble over to the feed lines in the window, grabbing the bundle with both arms, then wave wildly in your grasp as you wrench them away and kick off from the counter, gliding back out into the passage. Your arcing glide takes you into the crowd. You steer yourself through a gap in the gathering bodies and kick off hard towards the port. The feed lines wave wildly, but you grip them hard to your chest and don't look back. Seraphim better be ready. Oh man, we did it. Your arms ache from clutching the feed lines, but you don't loosen your grip until you see the entrance to the docking bridge. Sleeper! You almost ignore the call until you realize you recognize the voice. Junie glides out to meet you, a hand on your shoulder, guiding you towards the bridge. I'm with you now. She shoots you a glance. What a show, huh? She laughs nervously. You could have warned me. I did, she pauses. At least I thought I did. You both glide down the docking bridge, Junie helping you with the trailing feed lines. From what you can tell, news of the chaos in Factory Row has not reached the port yet. You feel a flush of excitement as you enter the ship's airlock. This is it. You did it. You try to keep focused, but the elation makes your hands tremble. You take a sharp turn in the central passage of the ship and make your way to the engine. The feed lines now unwieldy in the cramped space. Seraphim is waiting for you, shaking his head. Looks like we're in business. He lets out a sigh. And on the run from two different people now, he grabs the feed lines. I'll take it from here. He quickly begins the process of connecting the engine to the subsidiary fuel tank. You watch, catching your breath as he works. How about you make yourself useful, rather than just making me nervous, Seraphim says without looking up from his work. Go close the airlock and disconnect the bridge. You and Junie glance at each other. Both of you, now, Seraphim calls out. The two of you turn and make your way up the passage, your nerves settling now. You arrive at the airlock and reach for the control panel. Then you see him. Is it Carsten? Carsten coming up the dock bridge fast. Shit. I feel like this will fail. If I click it. Big feelings it will fail. Stop! You call out, and Carsten just laughs in response. Not a chance. He slams into you with some force, sending you spinning into the metal wall behind. You jerk in pain as he hit it and lose your sense of direction. You jerk in pain as you hit it and lose your sense of direction. Carsten's heavy hands grab your neck and wrench you towards his face. Someone's gonna save me, right? Sneaky little shit. You think I didn't know who it was when I saw what was taken? His breath is hot on your face. I thought you sleepers were supposed to be smart. Before you can respond, he jerks back in pain, a thread of blood spiraling from his forehead. Junie swings again, the pipe catching him in the chest and sending him spinning towards the door. You watch, stunned, as she inputs the closure sequence with trembling hands and the doors hiss closed, obscuring Carston's floating body from view. She is breathing hard and doesn't look up. The pipe drifts from her hands, spinning gently in the air. Thank you. Ginny looks back at you and opens her mouth as if to speak, her eyes wide. Seraphin rushes past, gliding up the passageway from the engine room. Come on, get yourself strapped in. You and Junie silently follow him, your head spinning, your thoughts racing. You slip into your seat as Seraphin punches in the departure sequence. The rig begins to pull away from Hexport. Seraphin hands on the controls. You close your eyes and feel the force of the thrusters firing. Be gone! Drive failed, major drive complete, 2 upgrade points. What the? Seraphin's quiet question interrupts your thoughts as the rigs cuts across the belt. Hexport is now behind you, drifting out of visual range. Its glinting lights now just part of the background glow of the belt's thousands of reflective bodies. Whatever trouble you stirred up there, it has surely been left behind. Which is why Seraphin's muttering is worrying you. What's up? Seraphin turns. There's a transmission coming out of Hexport, some kind of evac order. He turns back to his console. Let me check this. Sleeper, the voice, as distorted as it is, cuts through you. Lane. I know you are there, a hissing pause. Is that coming from Hexport? Seraphin glances at you, confused. Is what coming from Hexport? Give me a second here, Sleeper. I'm getting a wide channel broadcast. He rubs his shoulder nervously. They are warning people to alter their course away from the station. You are slipping away, a squawk of noise, but we can't have that. I take this personally, Sleeper. A sharp intake of breath. After all my investment, all my care expended upon you. This is how you repay me? At least we're heading away, Seraphin interrupts. Maybe it's just a precaution. I see a little something glinting out there, Lane continues. Could that be you? Sleeper. You hear Seraphin calling, but you don't move, you don't breathe. All you hear is Lane's voice. You unclip from your restraint, drifting forward towards Seraphin. He gives you a wild look. Something isn't right. You don't feel right. A numbness grows in your body, your fingers flexing without your input. Is he controlling me? You reach out towards her. Is it in my head? You reach out towards Seraphin. No, not you. Something reaches out to Seraphin through you. A tension flickers in his eyes. Fear? A hissing silence. Then a rumbling blast. All at once the rig screams, system seizing in electromagnetic paralysis. All at once the rig shifts, carried on some shockwave of light, pain, then darkness. What the? Voices echo warmly through your mind. You can't quite make out what is being said, and any attempt to focus causes a growing flare of pain. So you let them fill the air, unidentifiable and soft. You are floating, and so you cannot yet feel your body or its weight. The feeling is pleasant, soothing, and yet the moment you realize this, it begins to fade. Something spasms in your fingers, and you flick it away. A sensation crosses the sole of your foot, and you kick your leg. A weight settles itself in your chest. You are awake. You open your eyes to light the plane across a surface patterned with stained cushioning. Unknown, a vast and dark interior. You are alone. The voice is replaced by the hum of air cycling. Distant clank of maintenance systems. You are alone, and this is not your ship. You jerk upwards against the straps that hold you loosely to the berth, suddenly confronted with the last things you remember, an overwhelming numbness, and below it, an insipid, animating force creeping through your mind. You pull at the straps and free yourself, floating up into a small habitation room, cushioned and warm, your mind racing. Where is this? You glance around, taking in the small room with its knickknacks tucked behind webbing, its stained and worn storage units, its faded padding. This is someone's home. Cold light fills the room, and you float over to the dark square of the window. You see stars, the bright pinpricks of drive trails, and skeletal docking bridge. This is a station. A sudden hiss draws your attention to the door, which slides open with a puff of equalizing pressure. Liz! Traveled repair technician. Is that broken dice? 1-1. The entering figure jumps as they see you are awake. You're up. They hesitate in the doorway. Where's Seraphim? Your friend? Right. They laugh nervously. I'm not really sure. He headed out a while ago. I'm Bliss. They shrug, not sure what to add. Your crew are out. Sorry. They brought you here. Here? Right. They nod slowly. This is my room. They glance around. Not much, I know. We are in my repair bay, on the fair spindle, if you know where that is. On the far spindle. Ooh, in the belt? How did I get here? In the belt. Yeah, they smile sympathetically. In the belt. They look around at the room again. Come on, let's go somewhere a little more comfortable. They hold out a hand. You are safe, don't worry. Follow them out into the corridor, gliding behind them. They move with the ease of someone who is either born in 0G or has spent most of their life in it. They guide you to an enclosed balcony where heavily scratched, thick acrylic windows look out onto a chaotic-looking wet dock. At the center of the dock is the rig, scratched and worn, but still your ship. It's a reassuring sight. So, what happened? Your ship? Bliss pauses. You were lucky I heard your distress signal. You sense they are holding something back. I guess that expensive long-range array I was tricked into buying finally paid off. They laughed to themselves. Well, at least for someone. You were out cold when I got there, and have been for all the cycles since. Your friend wasn't in great shape either, but he bounced back fast. I make a habit of doing that. Seraphim's voice makes you spin around. Good to see you up. He can't suppress his smile. Are you okay? He smiles. Don't stop fussing over me, sleeper. I'm good. Your eyes fall to Seraphim's bandaged abdomen. He notices and pulls his jacket over the wound. Certainty looks better than when you came in. You should have seen. Bliss abruptly stops after Seraphim glares in their direction. Here, Seraphim pulls a few chits out of his pocket. Catch. He slings them over to Bliss. That's all I could get for now. What are you paying them for? Seraphim laughs. Who do you think put the rig back together? Bliss looks at you apologetically. I know what it looks like, but I'm sorry. I can't work for free. Keeping this place is going. Keeping this place going is bad enough. I get it. Seraphim nods. We're just thankful you told us in. We aren't freeloaders. This looks between the two of you. I'll let you two catch up. They turn to you. I'm glad you're awake. We were worried. They pat you on the shoulder and glide back down the corridor. With Bliss gone, silence descends on you and Seraphim. Both of you unsure what to say. Where's Junie? She's probably on the ship, working on that deck of hers. Seraphim looks out at the ship. She's been useful. Not sure we would have got that distress signal out without her. What do you remember? He looks at you with concern. Lane. Seraphim grimaces at the mention of his name. Lane? He shakes his head. Seraphim looks out at the rig. He takes a breath, steeling himself for what he has to say. Hexport is... He clears his throat. It's gone. He flinches. What do you mean, gone? It's gone. Seraphim catches your eye. Dropped off the map. No signals, apart from one sent from fleeing ships. He frowns. I don't know what happened. No one does. Your mind skips, unable to focus on the information you have just been told. You think of the constant activity of the bends, the rumble of Factory Row. Karsten. Gone. By the time Bliss reached us, we had drifted out of range. They couldn't have seen it go up. But I saw, Sleeper. Something exploded. White hot. He rubs his arms, suppressing a shiver. A moment later, the shockwave was on us. The rig was crippled. Engine kept firing, but guidance went offline, sending us arcing out across the belt. He drops a hand inside his jacket, pressing against the bandage on his side. I managed to get her under control, but not before we started spinning. My restraints came loose and you weren't even strapped in, so we both got scrambled. He smiles a weak smile. I felt like being trapped in an auto wash. He turns back to you. I'm impressed you made it, to be honest. A flesh and blood human would have been smashed to pieces. He goes silent, the image a little too raw for him to continue. Could it be to do with us? Seraphim shrugs. Your guess is as good as mine, he squints. Would Lane do something like that? It doesn't make any sense. Utsubo is a gang. They run dark side. They don't go around blowing up stations. All anyone is seeing is debris and radiation. I picked up a lot of ship transponders before the rig went offline. Maybe some people got out. He stops, unable to add anything more. You both float in silence for a moment. So we lost our tail? What now? Seraphim laughs weakly. One step at a time. You in a rush? We already owe Bliss for the work they did on the rig. And it isn't finished yet. A few more cycles, I've been told. Bliss won't hold us hostage, but I don't like to skip out without paying. If we could get the rig started up, he rubs his necklace between his fingers. Bad karma. Even if we could. Beyond that, we need work, fuel, supplies. And we need to make sure you are okay. He counts off the issues on his fingers. After that, he shrugs, I haven't heard of anyone coming after us. And if they did, they'd have come through Hexport, or what's left of it. He looks away. The far spindle is way out of Lane's territory anyway. They call this bit of the belt the Wash. And the stations here run differently to Darkside. So for now, we have some freedom. Seraphim sighs. Freedom to go broke, starve, and get into even more trouble, that is. In all honesty, I was hoping you might have some ideas. He pats you on the shoulder. I want to explore this place. The fast window? There's plenty to see. This is a free station. No one faction holds control, so it's quite the circus. Just watch your step out there. Seraphim pauses and stares down. Look, Sleeper. He rubs his side. I'm not sure I can work right now. I just got kicked out of a salvage yard for passing out on the job. He looks away. Even with the pain meds I've been able to scare up, I can fly, that's for sure. He stares obstinately at the rig. But you are going to need some crew if you want to do any serious work. He chews his lip. I'm sorry. Don't be. You need to be careful. Seraphim nods. I'm trying. He turns away. I'm going to take a rest on the rig. I'm wiped. You look out at the rig as he leaves, the warmth and softness of your waking moments now feeling like a distant memory. Is this what you wanted? Freedom? A chance to work for yourself, not Lane? Well, here it is. With all the problems and complications you could imagine. And at what cost could Lane have wiped out Hexport just to try to end you? You shiver at the thought. But if not Lane, then who? Theories cloud your mind. Dwell on them. Could it have been Conway? A drone? Or mind-drifting Starward? Senate stat perhaps, with some plan to weaken the belt, or a belt faction attempting to flip the board by intent or mistake. The belt had considered itself safe from the war brewing in the inner systems, but now, Hexport's loss will be felt all across the Starward belt. But what does that mean to you? Your needs are much more immediate, apparent. Those must come first. You take a breath. Time to make a plan. Tutorials. You have gained some glitch. Glitch is a penalty you gain from repairing dice and from Lane's attempts to hack your system. Okay. Your current level of glitch is represented by the glitch clock to the right of your dice. See? You can have a maximum of 6. Each level of glitch you gain will increase your chance of rolling a glitched dice at the start of the cycle. Each time you roll a glitched dice, you clear one level of glitch. A glitched dice has a 80% chance of a negative outcome when used and a 20% chance of a positive outcome. The glitch clock tracks your level of glitch and indicates if you have a chance of rolling a glitch die. The glitch die looks like this. Okay. You find Junie in the airlock, a small collection of things crammed into her bag. I was coming to see you, I promise. She looks nervous. I was waiting for you to wake up, but Seraphim said you were okay, so... That's okay. She smiles. Thank you, Sleeper. I'm glad you're feeling better. While you were out... She pauses, the concern for you obvious. I was digging into the data I pulled from that core, the Solheim one. There's a lot of stuff in there, but it's impossible to read. Either I'm decrypting it wrong, or I don't have the right cipher. Whatever it is, I think it means the data is important. She takes a breath, or at least it was to Soheim. I need to find someone to help me pick away at it, to crack it open. She looks down. That's why I'm going. I understand. Yeah, she nods. It makes sense. Oh, she suddenly reaches into her bag, producing a handful of chits. Some of the data I sold, just so I could buy myself a ticket to where I need to go. It's not much, but here's your share. She passes you the chits. Keep them. She pushes them into your hand. Don't worry, I've kept enough. Good luck, sleeper, and tell Seraphine goodbye for me. Let her go. Well, she rubs the back of her neck. See you around. You watch her drift away down the docking tunnel into the far spindle, with questions still bouncing around your head. Maybe, if your paths cross again, you might be able to get some of them answered. Whew, so we've got loads of different places to go. We're gonna search. Oh my god, this place is kind of big. So the guy that made this game is now using all his old ideas. Because I bought that artwork and I read it. And he had loads of little designs that look kind of like these. That's cool though. I like it.